Welcome to Beyond the Awards, a podcast from the British Wedding Film Festival. This is where we have honest conversations with filmmakers shaping wedding cinema, nominees, winners, and industry voices. I'm Joss.
And I'm Jeff, and as co-founders with Laura and Pete of the British Wedding Film Festival, we're excited to bring these conversations to you.
For this episode, we're joined by Ayla from Wagtail Productions, this year's winner of Best Use of Colour Grading at the British Wedding Film Festival.
Originally trained in photography with a background working with camera teams across music videos, television and feature films, Ayla brings a cinematic foundation to her wedding work, carefully tailoring the look and colour of each film to reflect the tone and atmosphere of the day.
Today, we're exploring how her visual language has evolved, what colour grading really adds to storytelling, and what success looks like beyond recognition. Ayla, welcome.
Hello. How are you?
Here it is.
Can I do my speech now?
Yeah, do your acceptance speech on this podcast, Ayla.
Actually, I don't need to go to the gym. This is unbelievably heavy. And if anyone ever breaks in, that's what I'll grab.
That's what we were going for. We wanted weapon vibes.
Yeah. Yeah, because we've got expensive equipment in our house, haven't we? So,
thank you for joining us, Ayla. Appreciate it. We haven't actually met properly because we've been chatting on Insta, but I'm Joss. Have you met Jeff before? Have you two met?
No, hello. No. Yeah, I know about your work because I lost a booking to you about 7 years ago.
7 years ago. Crikey,
I was
who
like,
was
who's
it?
this guy?
Oh no.
Is that when Jeff was good? No, I'm joking.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. I'm very excited to have you on today because I love the your film in Marrakesh. Every new version of you. Yeah, it is brilliant. So congratulations on that win. I like I say, I'm really excited to have you on. And I was just talking to Joss before, and I was just looking at the short lists again and just thinking to myself, wow, this could have been nominated for multiple awards. You know, the sound design, particularly
really?
For me. Yeah, for me. I love that kind of, you know, with the kind of like introduction to Marrakesh kind of shots with the, you know, the fast cuts and the kind of like the visuals marrying up to the audio and in a really slick way that I don't. It was kind of reminiscent of. Do you know the work of Brandon Lee?
Yes.
It kind of reminded me of that, and I've not seen, you know, any wedding people do that style to that level before till I saw that. So yeah, congratulations.
It's a lot of footage that you need to layer it. It's so much more than I realised, but luckily I did go over the top.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great, and the use of music as well. So yeah, it definitely could have got sound design for me. But I'm only one of 10 judges, so you know, what do I know?
Well, I concur, Jeff. I concur. Like, your films were very memorable, Ayla. So it's actually been just over a month now that we had the festival. How did you couldn't make it on the night? How did you find out that you won Best Use of Colour Grading?
Someone sent me a DM saying congratulations, and
no,
yes, I was up with the baby and was like, wow. And I didn't know I could win that because I just thought, I don't think I had entered that section, and I didn't think that was my strong point. And I think sometimes the more you learn about something, the more you realize how much you don't know yet. So
I know what you mean about, you know, maybe you don't know as much about the technicalities as you'd like to, but color grading, you know, any kind of art is all about the feeling it portrays. And whether it was by accident or not, you nailed it for that film. It was just beautiful.
Thank you.
And when we're talking about color grading, we're also talking about just the way that you've processed the image. You know, I've noticed you probably used quite a lot of grain.
Yes.
And yeah, and it just suited, you know,
rustic.
The scene.
Yeah.
You know, and it's you know, it's sensibilities like that carry weight in any kind of art, really. It's not always about how much you know about something.
I was thinking, no, that must be a mistake because that's not my strong point. And then I started unpicking what I had done to a friend. I was like, well, I guess I did make my own LUT for that. Yeah, and I did develop that from scratch. Yeah, okay, I guess I did something. And I realised I forgot how much work I did on it. And I often close the project, and when I open it again, it looks completely different. It's like the when you first put your sunglasses on. Excuse me. First put your sunglasses on, and everything is very like brown, and then you get used to it, and so especially with log footage, you think you've really graded it, and then you go away and you're like, no, this can be pushed more. So I'm a bit of a...
Do you know, on the night, Ayla, at the festival, because you weren't there, for context, on each of the tables, because we all had round tables, there were judges' quotes. One of them was for one of your films, because it came from me, because it said, I can't remember the exact words, but it said something along the lines of, I freaking love the colors. It looks very sandy. It's like you gave this it's like the whole film is, which obviously it is, but it's shot in a desert, and you've got this like sand feel to it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, so I did the photos for that. I don't know how I did that. I also photographed the wedding at the same time.
Wow.
On your own?
In the heat. And so I made my my LUT from the photos, which obviously wasn't starting off in a log profile, so I had to adjust that. But yeah, the red building and the gravel all around, and like the render on the Marrakesh houses, I was trying to bring that out. It was surprisingly hard to get that without turning it all to sepia. And I made the blues more turquoise, and then the pool shots, nothing's more disgusting than the blue of a pool. I think it reminds you of, swimming lessons. So I really tried to get rid of that, but also the pool was really low contrast, so I had to correct the underwater shots quite a bit as well.
Right. We've gone into the nitty-gritty straight away, but let's wind it back. Let's get to know you a little bit. So before we ask you about your past and how you got into this, I'd like to ask you about your 2 truths and a lie, please, because this is my favorite bit.
Oh, if I just smile through the whole thing and look like I'm lying through the whole
Poker
thing,
face.
you won't know. It's such a guilty face. Okay. The first one is, I have seen Sir Ian McKellen in his boxers with just the 2 of us.
Okay, which is the lie out of those 2 facts? I mean, okay.
Second one, my work has been on BBC Two.
Your work as in your wedding film? Or...
My
no
filming...
No questions, Joss. No clues. No clues.
My filming has been on... Yeah. I cannot give that bit away. My filming has been on BBC Two.
Okay. Mysterious.
And I have filmed the same wedding, the same groom for his 3 weddings.
Oh, that's amazing.
That is customer satisfaction.
Oh my God.
Fingers crossed.
Or was he just not satisfied? He wasn't satisfied with the first 2. So he was like, no, you will come back, Ayla.
Well, he didn't ask me to do anything different, so...
That's true. I love that. That's
wow,
really cool. Okay, very good. Very good.
If that's the lie, you're a very good liar, because you just backed it up with very convincing words. Right, okay.
Well, Ayla, we will get the answers to those 3 facts at the very end of the podcast. So we'd love to know, obviously, a bit more about you. We know as judges and as filmmakers ourselves, we know a lot about your work, although we'll get into that. We'd love to know about you as a filmmaker, as a person, and just taking us all the way back to how it started.
Yeah, what did you do before you started filming weddings?
I was working in the film industry. I started off in features, and then I went to music videos, commercials, a bit of TV, and then I ended back on feature films mainly.
I think I heard a rumor you were with involved with the James Bond productions. Is that
Yeah,
right?
the last film I did was Skyfall.
Wow.
Right.
In the second unit, so stunts, which is quite
Right.
probably a bit more interesting than lots of heavy dialogue. But yeah,
You've probably got more experience than me, Joss, and the Lawsons put together when it comes to, you know, actual knowledge. Because we're just fumbling our way through. I mean, me personally, and I can only speak for myself. But yeah, that's impressive, you know. What skill set have you brought from that knowledge into the wedding industry, into your wedding films? You say that color grading isn't your strength, but I bet it's
yeah. No, I don't think that gave me really any color grading skills because I wasn't really involved in the post. I went to the edit suite on 2 projects because I was thinking of moving into editing. I would have had to start at the beginning again and be a runner again, and I didn't end up doing that. But I think first thing it gave me was discipline, and I really actually struggle with this in our industry because in the film industry, if you did not take pride in your organization and your work, you just wouldn't be invited back because you've got people waiting to jump into your job. So it was very, very rule based, but I really enjoyed that. Especially for a loader, if you have a film in your hands that the whole crew have spent each of their individual pieces of the production, like, you know, you've maybe lit something on fire as well, that the set builders had spent ages making, and you paid the actors, and then you've just got this roll of film. And if you do not follow that and you let light into the bag, or you know, it's something simple like don't charge the batteries, and suddenly everyone is looking at you and the whole crew is waiting
to deal with stress. Is that what you're telling us?
I'm just saying I'm a fan of methodical working, and I don't put lenses in bad places. And not to bash other people, but I have seen some horrific things. I think, my God, like you cannot, because what does it mean if you have your favorite lens at a wedding and you just pop it on the edge there and you let the dust get into the back of it? Like, what is the consequence? You may be without that lens, or you may be spending hours like correcting it, and everything has a knock-on effect.
And Ayla, do you still shoot photography, weddings as well? Like, how did you get into filming weddings from the actual film industry? Like, how did you land into that?
I started photographing. Everyone says it's a bit cheesy. I started photographing as a child. And then photography was my thing. And I did GCSE. I did it at college, within my art, diploma. And then, so I've come from an art background, ceramics and photography. And then I was, a photographer's assistant for a while when there was a need for, you know, someone to change the film and do lots of things like that. A fine art photographer, called Joe Broughton. And then I was sure I didn't want to do any video at university. I was like, absolutely not. It's too much like media studies. It weakens it. I just want to do like really good quality, like serious photography. And I went and I did a degree in photography. And in my final projects, I did moving image. So, I was like, that's really good. You know, it'd be nice if it had some sound and maybe more than one image after the other. And, yeah, I just ended up doing that. And then I decided I wanted to make music videos.
Did you?
I did some we were reminiscing the other day about this music video I did on tape. And yeah, we were laughing because this band, they were classic liability, always showing up late, hungover. And yeah, I just remember getting my friend to drive her car round and around them as they play on the top of a multi-story car park as a steady cam. I was out the window with this
Any car.
yeah, steady car. Yeah. She had a convertible. So yeah. Yeah, and we did lots of locations and stuff, and it was rubbish, but I just, at the time it was great. Yeah, so I've been fortunate enough to make some really awful work before social media, so I don't have to put any of that stuff out there.
How active are you on Insta, by the way? Do you post a lot on Insta?
No, I kind of hibernated. I used to love it, and I'm guilty of really not posting. I think since COVID, it all got a bit much with the rescheduled weddings. And I thought, why am I spending a lot of time trying to get work when I'm actually fully booked for like 2 years? So I stepped back from that because I found it overwhelming. And every time you post something, there's a client going, "Oh, this is amazing. I can't wait to ask. When is it, by the way?" And I was just like, I just need to focus on the work that, but then I'm supposed to be getting back into it at the moment. I have so much work to show.
Inquiries, not posting.
Oh no, I never got any work from Instagram really. They're all from planners
Right.
and word of mouth, like other clients. And now I have invested in SEO, so I don't really. If I do get inquiries, they don't tend to convert. So I guess it's really easy just to sit there and message. But if you really want to book someone, you might have to email or fill in the form, and that probably.
Yeah, you can't beat the good old fashioned word of mouth, can you?
Yeah, exactly.
There's no algorithm to word of mouth, is there? Just
no,
like, just
I think
being a nice person is the algorithm.
Yeah.
Really, isn't it?
I think that's what I realised, actually. I was like, hang on a minute, I don't work for Instagram. Like, this is supposed to be for me. But I do have a lot of work that I really want to show, and I haven't, that Marrakesh film, I didn't post for ages. I don't know why. I thought then I was saving, I don't know. But I will get back to it.
That's really kind of like, struck a chord with me, because I definitely reached the point in my career where I didn't want to post anything anymore. I just wanted to make it for the clients and not show anyone else. And I don't know if it's because I was too bothered by what other people thought. I thought, I don't want to be bothered by what anyone else thinks. I only want to be bothered by what the client thinks and what I think.
Exactly. That's exactly how I felt. Like, this is not the important part. And I think we do get a bit brainwashed by being punished by the algorithm. And I just thought, well, I don't work for you. Like, you're supposed to work for me to help, if I'm using it for business, to help my business. So it was kind of a rejection of that. And also a rejection of all those invading our life, because I do not make films because I love tech. I make films because I love people.
Love it.
So that's a good segue into your film. They're beautiful. There's so many things I want to ask you about your work. One of the things that struck me and the judges, and I know Jeff will agree with that, each of your films are different. And I mean, I don't just mean the look you give, but it's because that's part of your identity, how each film has got its own grade. But there's an identity to each of the films. I was watching some more this morning, like there's one in Margate. The titles are different. It's almost like you adapt each of your films to, which I know you say on your website, to suit the story and the couple. But it's not just something you say. It's like, it's evident when you watch it. So how did you land on the idea of each film is its own unique, bespoke, piece? Because I know, from my perspective, I know that when I started, I was like, it has to be consistent. Couples need to know what they're booking, that kind of thing. Like, how did you land on that?
That was actually really hard at the beginning, because you could have, say, 5 films that were all different, and people would go, but but which one are you? But which one are you? But if you keep doing it for long enough and you've got a big variety, then they're like, oh, I get it. But if you're just showing a few at the beginning, it's really just for my satisfaction and creativity, and therefore client satisfaction. I cannot keep doing the same thing. I'm a person that struggles with routine anyway. I need the buzz. Also, just when I see couples and really get who they are, just that's what gives me the ideas. So what do I mean by that? It's like some people really are good at leaning into a fashion element and performing to the camera, and they are all about the public displays of affection. Why wouldn't they be on their wedding day? And some people are just much more private, and somehow they want it filmed because they love their family, or because their family couldn't attend for various reasons, and they struggle with that being the center of attention, but they know it's really important. And so I can't treat those two couples the same. I have to, if I was to tell a sort of more reserved couple, kiss, 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 and, smooch, and that's going to not feel like them. So I try to look at what they love about the venue, and try to draw out of them what it is that would really satisfy them in the film. For example, the Barbican conservatory wedding, they love the brutalist architecture. So I was like, how can I bring that geometry into the edit? And then there was another one at Says and Coat. They love the driveway approach and how it reveals itself. And that sort of reminded me of many period drama films, and just sort of going down the drive and revealing the house. So before I even started the wedding day, me and my assistant did that drive and made that sort of the opening of the film and let you relax into it a bit.
Two things spring to mind when we're talking about, your style of having an individual style for each wedding. And one is that you'll never go out of fashion, because if someone's got a particular style that they apply to every wedding, eventually it'll just look a bit passé. So that it works in that way. And another thing is, as an artist, when you think you don't have a style and you do everything differently, someone from a different viewpoint would still recognize your style. Something that you don't see because you make it completely, but there'll be a part of you in there that you don't know you've put in. So there will be a style that people will recognize. I think anyway. That's just
there was a part of me that did feel a bit icky about saying, "Oh, my style is I don't have a style." It's it's maybe showing like a lack of self-awareness of like, well, someone else be able to see a pattern. But I think essentially it's I try to look at the energy in front of my lens, and is that a still shot? What am I trying to say? Is it a still shot or is it handheld? In the dancing, I try to communicate the energy mainly with my camera work. And I think more dated videography, which I think is we've all let go of, you might get someone that does a wide shot because it looks amazing. They'll put it low down on the ground and the couple's right there. But that makes the couple really dominant, and you're not really communicating, unless that's what you want, you're not really communicating intimacy or romance because you've got this wide shot and they're, towering over you. So you've got to just think about how do you try and communicate what you see.
If I for a minute as well focus on the colors, at what point do you? So at the very beginning of the podcast, you talked about for the Morocco wedding, you basically created your own LUT, right? At what point in the edit do you start the color grading process, and what influences visually how you want it to kind of look and feel in the end? Do you have a preconceived idea when you shoot, or is it really like edit time that's when it comes together?
In terms of colors, I cannot edit without a basic grade.
Mm.
I don't know if that's also because it's log, so it really is flat. I need to know if there's going to be golden light in that shot, and I just can't. It's almost like I've just got misty glasses on, so I always put a basic grade on, and then it comes to life, because otherwise I think I go, oh, that's a terrible shot. Oh, what was I doing there? It's awful. I throw that in the bin. And then I'm like, oh no, it's actually okay, because now I've got the colours. I often do plan edit, even if it's just coming to me as I'm doing. I often plan for the edit. I just have an idea.
What do you mean by planning? What do you mean?
Simply, I've done it before where if I film prep, and I'm doing a lot of stuff through doorways, I think that might be nice if I pan into black and come out of black, and I'll just try to make sure I'm going the same way and that it's matching speeds, and I've got enough black at the end for the transition. I don't know if you know what I mean, but yeah.
Yeah, I do. There's some of your films where there's a shot. I've got one in mind where it's a groom looking out the window, and the shot visually is slightly slanted anyway, and you kind of move from left to right, panning, and then there's a transition that moves to a different part of the house to getting ready in or something like this. So it's kind of like you transition the motion and then the colors as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, but that sounds like I've decided, oh, there's this technique that I really want to do. But that actually comes from going, oh, look at everyone in their little rooms. Like, I'm in the corridor, there's something happening in that room, and I can see it all. And I'm like, how do I show that there's this bustle contained in each little pocket? And that's why I do it, not because I'm like, oh, I saw a cool camera technique. So it always comes from a feeling of something that's happening with people.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, it's really cool. I do love that. And then, so the other question I had was like, how do the colors come to you? Like, how did you know? I know naturally, I know that you couldn't have this sandy vibe for like if it's an all white wedding, but nevertheless, how does that come into your mind? Like, what kind of feel you want to give the film?
Yeah, I mean, so Marrakesh, I guess, is kind of obvious that it's going to be, if you've got a lot of warm renders on the buildings, you want that to be really red, and the sand to be really sandy. I think it was a bit more sandy than it was in real life, probably, in that film.
It was right. Ayla. It was perfect.
But usually it's from the wedding color palette. If a groom has got, like, I've had a groom that's had like a blue velvet jacket, absolutely nightmare because of the way it reflects light, but I make sure that that's right. And if they've got lots of florals that are pastel colors, I really need to lean into that, whether it's my taste or not. A lot of it comes from the table, actually, and the buildings. Yeah.
Fascinating. I've never heard that before.
It is fascinating.
But the color grades influenced by.
Yeah, I guess that's their taste, isn't it? So
I mean, it's obvious now that you've said it. I'd never thought of that.
I've definitely taken some of that, Ayla, because essentially when we were judging, and then after the festival, I had one edit left from 2025, which was also shot in Morocco, and I was like, okay, I'm going to. I mean, my tones are warm naturally anyway, and mine are. I want my films to be consistent, but nevertheless, I did add a bit more red into some of the buildings and the bricks.
I'll send you an invoice. You have not been charged for training.
So it's interesting that you talk about like there's clearly a lot of thoughts that go into your colors, and yet you were surprised that you won an award for best use of color grading.
Yeah, I was actually a bit like, oh, they just didn't know where to put me. Like, but yeah, I guess the more I thought about it, I was like, no, I guess I did make an effort. Yeah.
You did. For me, as I said, like, I've been in the industry 4 years, and I kind of asked that question, but I'm going to lead to something else here. I know that when I started and I was talking to planners, they really like the idea of knowing what they're getting. And I know that with you, we still know what you're getting. It's very consistent. It's clean. Some of the transitions and the way in which you shoot are the same. But if someone was to ask you like, how would you describe your visual style today? What would you say?
So yeah, if a planner was like, how do I pitch you to this client? Usually I ask them what are they looking for? I can do it. And if they're not going to give me information, and really this is like part of my conversion tactics is hearing, right, this is what you want. Like, even if it's a little buzzword, and saying, I can do this for you. Like, if you like the editorial style, like, what does that mean? Unpicking what that means to them, because it's also knowing the clients may use words to describe something that you wouldn't use words to describe filming. So yeah, I just basically unpick it to make them understand that I really understand what they want. And just because they have seen this film all in black and white on my website doesn't mean they're going to miss out on having the colors of the things that they have spent ages putting together. Or just because this is like melancholy style and they like it, but it's not for them, doesn't mean I have to do that for them. Because I do have that conversation quite a bit. Some couples are like, yeah, it's beautiful, but it's a bit, it's not joyous enough for us. And I'll make sure.
Yeah, have you had some feedback on that? Have you had some feedback on like, oh, we're not sure about the colors on this? Have you had that kind of feedback?
I have had someone mention the colours once, but that's not normally what they talk about. It's normally they talk about the party scene. They're like, we want it to look like everyone's having an amazing time rather than it's just shots of us. And I think you have to be careful about what you put on your website, because I've got one film in particular in my head that is a couple that was so good at the public displays of affection, and I loved filming how in love they were. But it was one of my favourite films I've ever shot, and I actually took it down because I thought, well, they're going to think that was my orchestration, and I sadly have to take this down. Because a lot of people actually just don't want shots of themselves. They want some of them looking nice, but they really want their family. So, yeah, I just try to get the information out and then quickly unpack it to say, I can do your brief if you tell me what you want. But it can be quite hard because you may have just missed out on a planner's gone, look, this videographer does your style, let's book them, before you've even got a chance to speak and say, let me go into the archive and show you something like that.
What are your thoughts, generally speaking, on awards in the industry, not necessarily the festival itself? Because obviously, do you enter many awards yourself?
I've never entered an award before.
You've never entered, but you entered into the festival.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's
and you won.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never. I just wasn't really interested in that. Yeah.
What was it different about ours that attracted you?
I looked at the judges and I thought, yeah, I think it was more modern. It was people that were interested in cinematography. And maybe my reluctance before was I didn't want to enter something just to get a badge on my website. I know that sounds really like derogatory to the existing awards, but I was like, no, I'm not going to just pat myself on the back. That's really icky. But I just thought, oh, there's a lot of like creative people and I haven't really networked like I used to. And I just wanted to come out of my hibernation.
Well, I'm glad you did.
Yeah. Have you been watching any other winners' films?
Yeah,
Ayla?
yeah, I have. And I've got lots.
Anything that kind of pops in your head? Any inspiration you took?
I mean, the Wes Anderson-esque. I mean, are they openly saying that's Wes Anderson inspired? They
Is
are.
that the Save the Date film from
Yeah.
Strawberry? I don't think they're openly saying it, but let's face it.
I mean, it looks like they've studied it, so, and that's not a bad thing at all.
No.
Yeah. I was like, okay, people are. It just made me think about us studying the directors and cinematographers that we love and what we do with that in a run and gun situation. Obviously, that wasn't a wedding, but I was just thinking about, okay, how do we apply this to a day that you cannot control? And I have had people say, oh, we like Wes Anderson style. And yeah, I've just been thinking about that a lot, and how we can bring elements of something which I know is like a huge long setup for those kind of shots, and we're trying to achieve that with no crew and people that are not actors. So yeah, it's just made me think about that a little bit more. I think you can just bring in just a little special shot, even if you just set that up on the wedding day and it's nothing to do with everything else. Once you insert it, it brings the production up a little bit.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, 'cause I know you work with Toby from Handcraft, and I know that one of his what's the word I'm looking for? One of his sort of like mantra is that for each wedding, even though the wedding might not be, an amazing wedding, he always wants to leave the wedding or leave the couple with that one shot that's like, I need each wedding to have its own sort of like iconic moment in a frame, and that kind of reminded me of that. It's like the idea that it's like some of the elements that we've seen in some of the winners' films could perhaps be engineered on the day to deliver that key moment, showing that key frame, that key sort of like cinematic, it's a very buzzword, but you know what I mean, that like that just iconic hero image kind of thing,
yeah,
on the film.
that wedding in Poland he did, I was his photographer, and it was the couple and the light shaft coming through.
Yeah, it's a great shot.
And the priest was kicking us out, and I was well aware, I'm like this English person, so like, what am I doing here, taking work photographing weddings? So I felt kind of awkward, but I was like, can we come back in with the couple? And they were like, oh, I've got to go nowhere. Honestly, he had nowhere to go, but he really wanted us to go, and I really pushed because I had been sitting there watching that whole church fill up with smoke from the ceremony, and it was killing me with this light coming in. So I think, yeah, you've got to be polite but also push for that shot, because if we'd let that go, that was probably the best shot of the wedding, that magical 5 minutes where all the guests are gone and it wasn't in the plan.
Totally worth it. I mean, it's the hero image of the festival.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna take
that's actually that's Toby's claim to fame. Actually, it's not how good the image is, it's just that we've used it for the festival.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you've got to be a little bit of a pain and ask for forgiveness rather than have to deal with the customers later that don't quite get that feeling that they thought they might.
Do you get that with planners? Do you still feel like you can do that with planners when there's always a tighter schedule? There's, sometimes planners can be, how it can be. You work with
yeah. So when me and Toby work together, he's so good at making people calm, and he's really a nice, gentle man.
He is,
and I'm the opposite. I'm a little bit more.
I'm the opposite as well. I just
pushy.
I'm not a people person. I'm just. I think I like to be. I like to think I am. But when you just look at someone like Toby, and you just while you're talking to him, your shoulders kind of like just relax a bit more, don't they? And it's just like, oh,
that's his superpower. He makes couples
it is.
Really at ease, and yeah, and maybe that's why we work well together, because I'm a little bit more detail, like pushing for details, which maybe, I don't know, they pay off sometimes, don't they?
So you've got your background in film, and at the start of the episode, you talked about how you're very meticulous and very organized. How does that translate into a wedding day? Are you super organized? And I don't just mean the kit and where you put your kit, but I just mean as far as like the way you approach filmmaking. How does that translate on the day?
Okay, so I mean, if I gave you an example of filming in cars, that's like something I love. It's totally difficult, and I think, Jeff, you might understand that. Really making a lot of work for yourself it's probably going to be a few seconds in the film, but I will make sure that with that I have discussed with the couple, let's do this thing in the car, which the car just takes them between the end of the ceremony and the reception, and that really should be my break. But no, I want to do this whole like shot list. So I will try to take that away from the couple. I might, for example, arrange one of the groomsmen to bring the car round, bring a car for me so I can film from behind if it's a convertible, arrange for him to overtake them so they don't really know it's happening.
Nice.
And get them from the front, and then arrange for us to just meet in this little lay-by for me to hop in with them. So I try to make that stuff happen with behind the scenes organization, but not put it on their plate too much.
It's well worth it though, isn't it? I mean,
yeah,
sequences like that are just so
exactly
dynamic.
little sequences like that. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. I found it fascinating. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I loved your work, so I had a feeling I was going to. Right.
Oh, that's done it.
Let's remind ourselves of these 2 truths and a lie. So, what was it again? It was. You did write them down, right? Well, just remind us, please.
But now I have to, not give it
Yeah,
away
because
again.
we can look at you when you say it as well.
There was the one about like so Ian McKellen in his underpants in a room.
Definitely true, I reckon. Definitely. I don't know why I'm getting that vibe, but I just feel like that one's true.
There was the one about the 3 weddings I filmed for the same groom. And there was the one with my work on BBC Two.
Now
that has to be true because you've got a background in film. Like that has to be. I feel like all of those 3 things are true.
Could be a double bluff.
Is that why you tricked us?
It could be like a red herring.
Sorry, my baby.
Oh, is it BBC 3? Is it BBC 3? Is that what it is?
Yeah, you just change one little detail and it becomes right.
I'm going to go for the lie being the 3 weddings for the groom. Not because it's unbelievable, but just because it sounds like if I was going to make something up, it'd be something like that, I think. Because it's weddingy.
But I really want it to be true.
Yeah. So
okay, Ayla, I'll go with the BBC 2.
Right.
Drum roll. The answer?
The lie is the 3 weddings for the same groom.
Yes! Are we going to start keeping scores, Joss? Because that is one for me.
Yeah, I think we have to. Yeah, we have to. I'm gutted. I really wanted that to be true. That's disappointing.
Actually, it was my cousin photographed 2 weddings for 1 groom. So she's waiting for number 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
How good was that? That was, this is such a great conversation and I've learned something. I've learned a few things, actually. So, yeah, thanks so much for coming on. Loved it.
It's so nice to speak.
Thank you, Ayla.
Thank
you so much.
Are you stuck in with the baby most of the time?
I have to get out every day. We're out all the time. But yeah, it's nice to remember I should probably mix with other creatives a bit more. Yeah.
Anytime. We're here all the time.